She looks like she's always embarrassed with you, like you did something embarrassing.
That really sums my life up, doesn't it?
Everyone, welcome to Brutally Honest Reviews, and today we are very excited to talk about Infinity War, directed by the Russo brothers. It has been a long time coming. With me we have Evan. We have Justin and our special guest.
Oh, thank you.
And my name is Bobby, by the way.
Oh boy.
Right out the gate, let's just do this. Let's just go around. I want brief thoughts on the movie. Evan, you go first. What did you think of Marvel's Infinity War?
So, without spoilers?
You know what? If you're watching this, you're interested in spoilers. I say we don't even worry about it. Just go for it.
Okay. So I went into this movie. What's this movie called? Marvel Avengers Infinity War.
Part one.
So I went into this movie. I really enjoyed it from the get-go. So going into this, I didn't really see any of the Marvel movies. I just know the storylines from the comic books. So watching this, I was actually blown away at how little I needed to know to really enjoy it. But I could definitely tell that there were a little bit of subtle things in there that were thrown in that were maybe hints at other storylines, things like that were kind of little Easter eggs for me. Not going to go into too much detail right away, but I'll say that it was pretty awesome.
So it's a clear thumbs up.
Clear thumbs up, yep.
All right, awesome. Justin, what did you think?
This is easily one of my favorite Marvel movies I think I've ever seen. It might be one of my favorite movies in the MCU at all. Definitely. And I stick to this. I still think Spider-Man's number one.
Which one?
Homecoming.
Okay. You think Homecoming is Marvel's best?
I think it's up till this movie. It is their best.
Okay. Cool.
So definitely thumbs up. All the thumbs up.
All right.
6.
Michael, what'd you think?
So this is an actual complaint.
Good stuff.
I don't think Thanos was purple enough. I don't think he was purple enough. Because you go back to I forget the end of which movie, but like you see him, he's got his raisin chin, and it's like going all the way up here, and then you see him in this movie, and he's kind of like Guy Fieri, or
if he went bold.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Or the Pawn Stars guy.
I think Guy Fieri should have played him.
You saw that meme too.
It is a meme. But yeah, no, honestly, it was a really good movie. If I had to equate it to something like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, I don't think there's going to be a game like that, like a Zelda game like that again for a while. I feel like this movie has redefined... Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. It's redefined the way Avengers movies are going to be made. So instead of the origin story of this person or this person, they'll all just come together and it'll be briefer,
Yeah.
as opposed to having single,
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that point up because I loved it. I thought it was great. Now, just for the record, I've seen every single Marvel movie in this MCU at least, multiple times. I've been following it. I read the comic books as a kid. So I'm a huge Marvel fan. Let's just establish, how nerdy are we? Justin, have you seen every Marvel movie leading up to
Not
this?
even close.
Okay. Evan, have you seen every Marvel movie?
Nope.
Okay. Michael, have you seen every Marvel movie coming up to this? Okay. Close?
Pretty close.
Okay.
Close. Really don't like the Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm kind of happy that they all died.
Okay.
Except for Rocket Raccoon, the rabbit.
Sweet baby
The
Groot.
sweet rabbit.
Groot.
Yeah, the sweet rabbit.
It's offensive.
Groot's dead.
And I also
No, it hurts me.
I haven't seen Black Panther. Not because it's not a good movie, but I didn't really grow up with Black Panther, so it's just kind of there. I'll see it eventually, but
Sure. We didn't review. We haven't been doing it long enough to review Black Panther on this channel.
No, we
but
didn't do that.
You saw it. You loved it.
Yeah, I loved it.
I wouldn't go as far to say I hated it. I don't think it was bad, but I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. That's how I felt.
Black Panther?
Damn.
Damn.
I found the movie really more frustrating than anything. And I think that's relevant because when I review this movie, I want everyone to understand that I'm not just a Marvel fanboy that loves everything that Marvel does. Like, I have criticisms and complaints and movies in the MCU that I straight up don't even really enjoy. But when you brought up the point, Michael, of they're changing things, I'm going to take it a step further and be like, can we just bow our head, take our hats off for a second at this achievement that Marvel has been able to pull off 10 years ago when they announced that they were going to be building a cinematic universe with all of these different parts. Now, this isn't a trilogy. This isn't like just a continuation of a long story, or even something like Harry Potter, where it's way bigger than a trilogy, but it's the same characters, the same storyline, all hurtling towards one goal. This is completely different independent stories that work completely separate from one another with this underlying meta plot that all culminates to this. They announced it. Everyone thought they were crazy. No one thought they were going to be able to pull it off. Now they're doing it. Everyone's trying to copy them. Star Wars is trying to copy them with the anthology films. Paramount and their dark universe with the Mummy and all that kind of stuff is copying them. Pacific Rim, King Kong, and all that. Like, that's going to happen.
I'm wearing the Godzilla t-shirt.
Godzilla,
I'm all about that movie.
It's all
Still
going to
haven't
happen. Seen it. It's all going to happen. I mean, DC is trying to do they're changing cinema.
DC can just go down the drain for all I care.
You know what? DC, I can't even.
Well, see, the thing is, they have really good animated movies, but like the actual like film movies are just like, there's no way Batman can beat up Superman. Like, he can kryptonite dart him, but like outside of that, he's not really.
You mean you didn't love Green Lantern?
I love Green.
Oh! I forgot that movie existed.
So not great.
My
You forgot it was real.
Yeah, I don't know. I try not to even touch DC. I've seen a lot of DC movies, but
I'm so
I am
happy.
not impressed.
I'm so happy Ryan Reynolds escaped that shit. So happy.
I see them at this point just for fun. You know what I mean? Just to be like, okay, how big of it? Because after Batman v Superman, I was like, how bad could it get? You know what I mean? Like, how bad could it possibly get? Then I went to see Suicide Squad, and I went, oh, that's how bad things could get. But moving back to Avengers.
Yeah.
Hats off to the Russo brothers, to Kevin Feige, to everyone at Marvel Studios. Everyone told them that this thing wouldn't work. They made it work, and this was the best. I genuinely think the best possible outcome. I have criticisms. I have things that I want to say about the movie. But really, everyone keeps saying, you know what, this isn't a movie. It's an event. It's not a movie. It's not really a movie because it doesn't follow a 3-act structure. It doesn't have, everyone's like, the characters weren't really developed. I'm like, this isn't it. Like, when music was nothing but classical piano and blah, 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 and then all of a sudden, something different like jazz or rock and roll or anything like that surfaced, people would be like, that's not real music, because there was a structure of what that type of music was, and then you have these dancers, and whether you're doing tap or ballet or anything like that, and then break dancers came around and they were just like, oh, that's just tricks, that's not real dance. That's what Marvel's doing. Marvel's this is a movie, we're changing how it works.
The character development happened in the movies prior.
Yeah, that's the thing, is this is not it's standalone for sure, but if you never watched any Marvel, almost an Avengers movie, if you watched any Marvel, well, that's sort of true. If you watched any Marvel movie, you could probably still watch this and have a sense of like logic to it.
Yeah.
But they don't need to set up who Guardians of the Galaxy is to you. If you don't know what that is, go back and rewatch Guardians of the Galaxy.
You don't even really need to know like who Thanos is. Like, he's just this big like space raisin that just wants to kill everyone. Yeah, Spazin. But yeah, like also I thought Thanos was like super interesting as like a villain, because like, don't get me wrong, he's Space Hitler, but he truly believes what he's doing is mercy, as opposed to Ultron, who's just like, I'm a robot and now I'm here, so let's kill.
Let's see if we can break this down scene by scene, because I could jump around.
Yeah, let's go into it because
So
I'm kind of
much.
overwhelmed. I don't know what to hit first.
So yeah, we could talk about so much. We could talk about the villain. We could talk about just the achievement and accomplishment this movie is. But everyone see Ragnarok?
No.
Yes.
Thor Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Way too much comedy.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So
I didn't hear it was worth watching, truthfully.
that
It was good, but
that movie was awesome.
No, it might have been. I didn't say it
That
wasn't.
movie was. I mean, if you think you're going in to see a movie that's just an action movie, you're going to be disappointed. But if you understand that it's a space comedy, you're going to have a great time. Same exact thing with Spider-Man.
Right.
Spider-Man, if you think you're going to go and get this badass, awesome, action-packed Spider-Man movie, you're wrong. You're going to get him being a bumbling idiot the entire time, and it's going to be a high school
So if I
comedy.
like Homecoming, I would like Ragnarok.
that's high
You'd
school
love it.
Spider-Man. College Spider-Man's pretty awesome.
Sorry?
They're focusing. I'm sorry, we'll go right back to Avengers, but they're focusing on like high school Peter Parker, who's like really lame. And I'm actually reading like the legacy where he's like after college or like stuff like that. That's when he's like good Spider-Man.
At his peak.
Yeah.
We open up this movie opens up well, even before the opening scene, we get the standard Marvel I don't want to call it a crawl. It's not Star Wars, but it has all the different characters that eventually pan out, and it equals the Marvel Studios logo. And that is done in silence. And typically it's done with the Avengers theme music. So I thought that was just a nice little touch to be like, you're in for something a little different. Get ready, it's going to be a little different.
Don't
and
freak
then
out.
Then you see the I and the O in Studios blend, and it creates the 10, just something a little bit different. And be like, ooh, this is we're in for something.
Yep.
And it opens up with complete black with a distress call to someone who's just being like, we're all dead, we need help, we need blah, 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 which eventually ends up being the stress call that the Guardians of the Galaxy hear that brings them to Thor in the first place. And it opens up, if you guys hadn't seen Thor Ragnarok, Ragnarok ends with them all together, like a lot of characters, the entire city of Asgard, really, on a ship escaping because Asgard has just been destroyed. And it was a happy ending, and they're like, oh, we're off to wherever we need to go. And it opens with, and it ends with them in the presence of this huge ship. And everybody assumed that was Thanos' ship. They were right. They got on there. They did not waste any time. They did not say, I'm Thanos, and they cut. Everyone was dead. He slaughtered everyone. Thor had clearly fought. He was on the ground. He was out. Loki looked like he was kind of standing there looking like Thanos was almost giving him a break because Loki worked for Thanos at a certain point. And we get some dialogue back and forth. Again, they waste no time, and then we get the Hulk versus Thanos scene.
So
Evan, what did you think of the Thor versus Thanos? Thanos versus Hulk.
Well, first of all, so Thor Ragnarok ended where we pick up in Infinity War.
Immediately.
Oh, that's pretty
So
cool.
I
Now I'm gonna go back
was
and watch that.
so upset. What even happened to Valkyrie? I feel like they just introduced Valkyrie. Like, did she like go her separate ways at the end of Ragnarok, or
No,
did
she was on the ship.
She just die?
I
didn't even.
think. I mean, I've heard
notice.
some people say since you didn't see them, like Korg also. Korg was a huge part of Thor Ragnarok. I think he was everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
And
The
he
big
was-
like rock guy.
Yeah, the
yeah.
piss off ghost. Like,
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
so funny. And he was there, but you didn't see him on the ship. But characters like Heimdall. You saw Heimdall on the ship. He's clearly dead.
Rest in peace, dude.
And yeah, I just got his pop. So
Nice.
but yeah, you didn't see Valkyrie, you didn't see Korg. At the moment, I was just like, I think they're dead. But a lot of people are speculating since it wasn't on screen, they thought maybe they got away. Or maybe she's the one who sent the distress signal. I just thought of that. Because it was a woman's voice. So maybe she managed to get away, and she was the one who actually called out to help them, and she's on her way somewhere else. Because I actually really enjoyed her too, and I didn't know if it made sense for them to kill off, because Thor and her had a little moment.
Well, they like brought her in, and it just wouldn't make any sense to like here's Valkyrie. Oh, by the way, she's dead. Sorry, kid.
Maybe maybe they went a little Game of Thrones. They're like, hey, here's this character we love. Infinity War is some serious stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna murder her. So I wasn't mad at it. I thought it set stakes. But I also wouldn't be mad if she turned out to be alive either.
Yeah.
You know, Thanos is talking. We're introduced to his children. They have names in the comic books. I forget all of them.
Oh
if I do.
yeah, the guy with the like red hair. He looks
Squidward.
weird. Squidward. Yeah.
Remy, like Remy Mo or something. I don't.
Is that his actual name?
No. I'm thinking of Remy Martin, which is a cognac. Can you look up Thor's children? He has
Thor's children.
Thor's children. He has
Oh,
these-
Thor's children.
Yeah, he has these.
Oh, I
henchmen.
thought you were talking about Thanos.
Sorry, Thanos. So many.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos.
That's what I was looking at the first.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry.
No, like he has.
Yeah, these guys.
He has one kid that kind of looks like Blanca from Street Fighter.
Yep. We have Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, Black Dwarf, and Supergiant. Great.
Oh, so those are all the villains.
Wait.
Yeah.
Those guys were his children.
No, not literal children.
Oh, like
I
children.
think.
Gotcha.
So
Sorry.
I think this whole thing, Thanos. I mean, there's a huge. I mean, really, throughout all of the Marvel films, there's a theme of fatherhood, which is almost all of them. There's a theme of which is religious. There's a theme in this movie of sacrifice, which is religious. And Loki even says outright, right before he bites it, "You'll never be a god." So all of this is him in pursuit of trying to be a god. He sees everyone as his children, which I think is more metaphoric and symbolic. They're not his actual children. I think he only has the two adopted, Nebula and Gamora.
Adopted.
So they're
Stolen.
stolen.
Oh, yeah.
Stolen children. But
You're gonna
That's
kill
what
parents
we,
and steal.
that's when we get the dialogue back and forth. You know, he's trying to bargain. Be like, all right, I'll spare his life if you give me the Tesseract. And we get which is funny that Loki delivers the same line about Hulk that Tony Stark delivers to Loki
yeah. That
at
was
the first
awesome.
Avengers. Like, we have a Hulk.
Yeah.
And he comes out of nowhere, which made me think of where he was when everyone was getting pillaged and murdered. But
Just
the
waiting
scene-
for that.
Yeah, but the scene, waiting for his intro.
Yeah.
But the scene was so cool that I didn't care and I didn't think about it. Evan, what were you
So
thinking at that
the
point?
scene was really cool. Makes me wonder after the fact though, because at the end of the movie, obviously we see the big battle with Thanos, and they almost beat Thanos at the end, and then someone.
You're talking about Iron Man and Doctor Strange and the Guardians and all
Right,
of them. Yeah,
right.
that one, not the one on Wakanda.
No, not
Yeah,
the one
yeah.
on Wakanda. So,
They
so I
almost
was,
get the
I was kind of wondering at the beginning, like he has one stone, one power stone at the beginning, so he's killed off the entire Asgard
Mm-hmm.
and the Hulk and basically everybody else on that ship with one stone. But then at the end, we come really, really, really close to beating Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we didn't have like the mind control. I forget her name. But
Scarlet Witch.
Is it Scarlet Witch?
Yep.
With the eyes coming out of her head?
Oh,
Mantis.
oh no.
Mantis.
yes,
Mantis is the
Bug-
reason why
Bug
they
Woman.
almost beat him.
Yes.
And then
Well, then
They
Local
were
Man
able to,
ruins
like,
everything.
Chris
And,
Pratt ruins
subdue
everything.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate the Guardians so much, specifically
They're
for that.
so
reason, too.
funny though.
If you didn't like them before you saw this movie, you definitely hope Pratt's dead for sure.
Like he literally is directly responsible for.
Sold.
Thanos versus
Yeah.
Hulk, guys.
Yeah, sorry. So
Michael, what did you think of the choreography, the fight, the visually? How did you enjoy it?
can I just say I love Thanos when he's in like full armor.
Yeah.
And that was like the only part of the movie where he was kind of like, you know, full Thanos mode, you know, battle armor ready. And then he takes it off and then he's just this, you know, bald guy. But no, I thought it was really true to, you know, the basic idea that Thanos is like this almost, I don't want to say omnipotent, but like this indestructible force that not even the Hulk can, you know,
Yeah.
smash.
It gives you it gives you a sense of, okay, this is how powerful he is without the stones, because he wasn't using any power from any sort of Infinity Stones in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a Titan, and he's a warrior, and he'll kick the crap out of you. And I feel like a lot of people's a lot of people's things would be like, okay, what's going to happen when the Hulk just goes over and just completely destroys him? And they answer that within the first seconds of the movie, and they go, well, this is exactly what would happen. And it seems like Hulk has the upper hand. He's punching him, he pushes him into the wall, and then, one of his children goes, no, let him have his fun. Let him do the thing. And I actually don't know if he meant let Hulk have his fun or let Thanos have his fun. I didn't really quite understand what he meant, but he comes up and then he just goes full boxer mode. He's pulling him, he's kneeing him in the face, and then starts with this WrestleMania ends, and then just slams him down, and then everyone in the theater is just oh my god.
All the kids are like, Hulk.
Yeah.
Where?
Can we talk about that real quick? What was everyone's viewing like? Packed theaters, a lot of interaction in the crowd.
So Evan and I went on a Sunday night at 10:30. There wasn't a seat free. This movie lasted till at least 2. We got home at like 2 a.m.
Opening weekend, this made $230 million worldwide. Hasn't even opened in China yet, and it's already the #1 opening weekend movie of all time.
We had gone at 9:30 in the morning. We had gone an hour early, 9:30 a.m. Sunday, because we figure who else is going to see a movie at 9:30 a.m. One seat left. So we ended up buying tickets to the 10:30, and luckily we got in and it's packed.
Yeah.
It's packed. This is going to be another thing. Like Black Panther was in theaters for, I think it's still in theaters right now, going into like a couple months in theaters. This is probably going to be in theaters till summer.
Yeah.
I'll get this on a 4K Blu-ray like sometime by Christmas, I hope. Because I already want this on Steelbook.
People have already
That'd be a
pre-ordered
good
it.
gift.
Yeah.
I pre-ordered it this morning.
Yeah.
You did?
I can't wait for it. I hope there's an extended
4K,
cut.
4K Steelbook.
We're breaking in that TV.
I already broke it up.
This is just an interesting fact about myself. Not really about myself, but my family.
He does porn.
When my dad was a kid, he lived in the same apartment complex as Stan Lee. He lived like directly underneath him. So my dad and his brother would send him letters like, who would win, Thor or the Hulk? And he actually answered, and he said Thor would win hands down versus the Hulk. So like when you see Thor like so messed up like on the ship, and then it's like, oh, here comes Hulk, it's like, no, there's no way the Hulk is like after Thor's.
They all have so many different moments of being, I mean, you take that into consideration when you're just like, okay, Flash or Superman, who wins the race? And it's just like, which Flash? You know what I mean? Like, Flash has moments when he has fully realized powers where Superman couldn't even begin to touch him. But then in this one, too, it's just like, Thor didn't have his hammer. You know what I mean? So if he had Stormbreaker, which was a fun nod to the comics,
a truly stupid name.
Would things have worked out differently?
So that's confirmed. He did not have a hammer at all in that fight.
Actually in Thor Ragnarok, his hammer gets destroyed within the first 15 minutes.
Oh, that explains it for me.
Yep.
Yeah, if you look, you guys saw Thor 1, Thor 2?
No.
Okay.
I remember Thor 1.
Well, the Thor has always been a little bit more on the more dull side of, in terms of quality in the MCU. Yep. Thor Ragnarok is a reboot. They redesign the character in every way. They kill everybody that you didn't care about on Asgard. They destroy his hammer. They give him a new haircut, a new power. They give just everything is so radically different, which is why Thor Ragnarok I think is great, because it just takes just like, oh, you thought this was boring? Let me give you just crazy like something so it shouldn't even exist, that movie.
And it's so like insane. All like crazy like vaporwave like retro theme.
Yeah, it has a very like 70s 80s kind of vibe to it. The soundtrack is awesome. The humor's hilarious. There's so many bright colors. It has elements of Planet Hulk in there. Hulk is amazing. It's so fun and cool in that movie.
It's cool to see Hulk like
being a person.
Yeah, like instead of just 2002 Hulk where he was
weird.
grunting.
Mark Ruffalo, it was a weird Hulk in this movie. I'm not sure if he's played a Hulk before, but in this movie, I liked him, but I thought it was so different from what so
He's
different
played the
from
Hulk
what
for
I've seen.
years, I think.
Mark
Ruffalo?
Ruffalo started playing the Hulk in 2012 in the original Avengers movie.
Wait,
And
really?
then-
In the original one?
The original Avengers movie. In his original solo film, it was Edward Norton.
Right,
That's it.
right.
Yep.
So his solo film that came out like 2009 or something. It was only like a year after Iron Man because you had that little post-credit scene that wasn't even post-credit because that's how new the MCU was at that point.
Yeah.
They recast him for Avengers, and he is, I just think, infinitely better than Edward Norton. He's so fun, and they've gotten to a point where the CGI on the Hulk is great. You can actually see Mark Ruffalo's face in the Hulk, and it actually just makes sense. It doesn't look like two completely different people.
Well, I like that he's kind of a weenie. Like,
Yeah.
when he's Bruce Banner, he's literally like,
And a
hey
genius.
guys, I'm Bruce Banner.
Yeah,
But
and it's great. So, and something else you'd actually like. He's the Hulk. Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He's the Hulk the whole time. He doesn't go back and forth. He's the Hulk the entire time. And,
That's interesting.
And he speaks he has conversations with the Hulk.
Ooh, that's weird. I don't like that.
It's weird. You don't think you'll like it, but then you go and you're like, this is so great. Because we were talking about this before the podcast. Like so many renditions of these heroes. Thor has had in comic books. He's had issues, like streams of issues where Thor is funny. You know what I mean? There was all this wacky space stuff going on, and then Planet Hulk, which was a completely Hulk comic. That's another thing how the creators of these movies are just so familiar with the source material. You know what I mean? You're just like, well, let's throw this in there, and then the comedy from that, and then Planet Hulk, we'll put this in here too. And it was great.
Let me ask you this, right? So you saw Ragnarok, at least two of you did.
Yeah.
Does any of that describe why Banner can't turn into Hulk in this movie?
I know exactly why. Mike, you want to take this?
My guess was that the Hulk is either afraid of getting beaten up by Thanos again, or he's reluctant to let Bruce Banner take control of the Hulk again because he thinks Bruce Banner is puny.
I accept those, but I'm curious.
I thought it was really clear that you could even see it in Hulk's face, which I'm glad we're going back to that fight because I really enjoyed that fight. You could see it in Hulk's face. Just Thanos hits him just in the clavicle. He just goes and he goes, oh
Yeah.
I'm struck for the first time in my entire life. He explained in Avengers. Everyone here saw Avengers. Remember the time when he was just like, I put a bullet in my mouth and the Hulk spit it out? Like he's tried to kill himself before, and the Hulk's like, nope, I'm just gonna spit your bullet out. And for the first time ever, the Hulk is... Again, in Thor Ragnarok, you need to see this freaking movie. What's the giant god? The giant fire...
God.
He's literally the size of... You remember in Hercules, when all of the crazy monsters
demon?
in Hercules... Yeah.
Surtur.
Surtur?
Oh, Surtur.
Surtur.
I think.
So Surtur is like a giant. He makes the Hulk look this big. Legit makes him look this big. And he's up jumping like a mile up in the sky and punching this dude in the face. The Hulk isn't scared of anything. And he will just and Thor even goes in the movie, he goes, Hulk, no, stop. He goes, but it's big monster. Hulk punch. And it's so good.
Yeah.
And in this, he goes in with Thanos he's like, I'm gonna pin you up against the wall, I'm gonna punch you in the face, dude, I'm the Hulk. And he gets there and he's out cold. He is knocked out in this moment.
Gets really messed
when he
up.
wants to bring him back out, he goes, No, I've never felt this way in my entire life.
She's embarrassed.
For the first time, embarrassment, failure, and fear. And I thought that added a lot of depth to this otherwise person who was just a mindless smashing whatever. It's like now there's an actual story here. It's not just, I'm just going to turn into the Hulk when it's convenient now. For the sake of the plot, I can control my rage.
I do respect that they didn't feel like they had to give us what we wanted. Like they didn't have to give us that Hulk finally gets it back at the end.
Yeah.
I like that they didn't do that, and I liked that the movie. I know we're jumping around, but I know the movie ended on a negative note. Obviously, because it's gonna be a part 2. But like we left the theater going like, "Oh shit, they just did it."
Yeah.
They just left us on that cliffhanger.
Yeah.
That was no light cliffhanger.
No,
Yeah,
that
no.
was heavy and fast because it was a mile a minute. The whole 2.5 hours, I was on the edge of my seat. All of a sudden, last 10 minutes, just leaving you there.
Yeah, no breaks. And once Hulk's just in the ground, Heimdall uses the dark magic one last time to send Hulk back to Earth, and he immediately gets stabbed, which is sad because I really liked Heimdall. I thought he was a really cool character.
Yeah, he had like a. I'm not even gonna go back to Ragnarok. His character was cool in Ragnarok. Sorry.
Sorry, making
everyone.
me really regret skipping this movie.
It's a great movie, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I don't
think it's one of the best Marvel movies in
Go
its
see it.
own way. In its own way, you gotta understand what you're going to see because again, I'll bring it to Spider-Man. If you like Spider-Man, it's a high school comedy, man, with like action tones inside of it. This is a comedy. So if you go and you think you're gonna get your standard like superhero film, you're not gonna enjoy it. But if you go in preparing to laugh and get some really cool spectacle while you're there, you're gonna really enjoy it.
So that's like truly why I never really liked the MCU for the longest time, and why I've skipped a lot of the movies from maybe 2014 and on, 2015 and on maybe, is like there was a serious tone that was like, this isn't fun for me. Like the seriousness washed away, and then when I saw like Spider-Man Homecoming, I was like, okay, yeah, like there's the humor I need. There's like the quick-witted humor. And then Guardians, of course.
Yeah.
Its humor was wicked refreshing. Like that was so necessary for me to love comic book, because comic book movies for me always suffered from the same trope that was like, man, you know what's happening.
Yeah.
Whether you've seen it or not, like they have the same formula, the same tropes that every other one does, whether it's DC or Marvel.
Yeah.
Except DC
Only
makes
Marvel does it well.
way shittier movies.
There's nothing wrong with tropes.
No, of course there's nothing
Why
wrong
would
with
you do it
tropes. But if you're gonna make 19 movies in this like current day universe, and not that they do, but if they do all fall into the same tropes, then after a while you're just like, nope,
Yeah.
giving up. And then
No, I
like
get that.
the
And
last
that's
few
why-
don't, and I just made the mistake of
Ragnarok.
skipping Ragnarok.
Yeah, Ragnarok doesn't either. I recommend it. Once we're there, we find out again another thing that references Ragnarok. When they go down in Ragnarok, what ends up happening is Loki needs to steal something that's underneath, like the under chamber of Asgard. And while he's there, there's a small little scene where he sees the Tesseract and he just kind of pauses and he stares at it, and everybody kind of theorizes that Loki took the Tesseract again. And Thanos gets aboard the ship and he's like, give it to me. And Thor is like, we don't have it. And he genuinely didn't know that Loki took it. And that's why he goes, wow, you really are the worst, brother. And he gives it to him. He starts, because he starts torturing Thor again. The whole thing with the, Cap saying, we don't trade lives, we don't trade lives, we don't trade lives. That's how Thanos has been able to succeed in all of these things, because they don't trade lives. And even his twisted relationship with Thor, he wasn't willing to watch him die right in front of them. He says, don't worry, brother, the sun will shine on us once again. He gets strangled to death. He says, you'll never be a god. And then Avengers Infinity War. No, then we see Bruce Banner go into the temple. And he goes, Thanos is coming. He's coming.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
comments through.
In Doctor Strange's, in the temple there in New York. And then seen Infinity War. So that's how we open up.
So
Did you see Doctor Strange?
No, I want to now because I really like that character.
Yeah,
I
he's
never
a
knew
lot
about him.
better
That's
in
great.
this movie than he was in his solo movie, I
Yeah.
think. What did you think, Mike?
I think I love Doctor Strange, but I think Benedict Cumberbatch kind of looks like a Siamese cat. So, like, look at a picture of him. You'll never unsee it. But no, his character was so good in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
easily, like, most useful next to, like, Thor or, like...
Yeah.
He's up there.
Well,
He's up there.
there's some characters that get limelight, and there's some characters that get thrown to the side a little bit. I know that a lot of people were upset because Captain America is one of those people who didn't actually get a story. He just kind of, you could probably count his lines on one hand. He doesn't have a lot to do. But Doctor Strange is one of those people where I think he falls. He's one of those dangerous characters where he's so freaking powerful, you have to watch how you use him. And I think Vision and Scarlet Witch fall underneath that same thing. I'm just like, if Scarlet Witch is so powerful that she can do this, why doesn't she just do this? You know what I mean? But you have Doctor Strange. His movie was Iron Man. His movie was Ant-Man. The kind of
Cliche.
ego-headed, learning to be more responsible and think of others, and finds himself in a situation that he needs to overcome, and he eventually becomes whatever. But I really, coming from someone who saw all of these movies, I think Doctor Strange works so much better as a supporting character than he does as the main character. And I feel the same exact way about Spider-Man in this movie.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what makes this movie so great, because, like, we all know who Spider-Man is, we all know who Thor is, we all know who Captain America is, and, like, this movie is just like, here they all are, and this is what's happening right now, and they're fighting. There's not a whole lot of explanation, and that's what I like about it compared to, like, the standalone.
Yeah, they don't aggrandize any character. They don't really kind of ease towards either direction. There were some, like you said, that are kind of cast to the side, not as important, but for the most part, everybody had their screen time. Everybody was used correctly, in my opinion.
And
Where was he?
And Hawkeye. They addressed it at this moment in the film when everyone kind of rendezvous and Bruce Banner shows up again. And then Doctor Strange like, oh, what about this? And then that's when Bruce Banner goes, wait, there's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man? Which was a fun little line.
Well, he's doing his own thing with Wasp, right? Like, they have their own movie.
That movie predates this one.
Oh,
in terms
I mean,
of
makes
the timeline.
sense.
Yeah. Who even knows if they're still around after this?
Yeah.
But once we are, they said, I believe, the events of Civil War took too much of a toll on them and their families, and they took a hiatus. So they're somewhere. Maybe they're with Captain Marvel. I have no idea where they've been all this time. But so they're out of the picture. But we come back and we're in New York, and Iron Man, or Tony Stark rather, is talking to Pepper. We had a super profound dream that you were pregnant. Again, kind of touching on this fatherhood theme of the MCU and in the movie. And then Strange shows up and says, hey, it wouldn't be an understatement to say that the entire fate of the universe is at stake. You need to come with me. And he's like, who the hell are you? And that's when Bruce comes out and goes, hey, Tony. And he comes up, and he's like, Bruce, and he gives him this hug. And I was like, oh. And I love that they didn't undercut that with some stupid joke, because that moment really had emotional
That was big.
weight. Yeah. It had emotional weight for me.
You forget, like, the Hulk's been gone for, like...
3 years.
A long time. I do like, like, they have this interaction in Doctor Strange's, like, temple or whatever it is, his house. But it's like, oh, who's Thanos? We need to get ready. But, like, instead of just going from there to, like, them preparing, it's just like, Thanos is here.
Yeah,
like,
they don't waste any time.
Yeah.
So Evan, with someone who hasn't seen all of the movies, you understand the relationship between Bruce Banner and Tony, both kind of being super geniuses, and
I see all the relationships. I understand all the relationships, and I see all, like, the undertones and the characters. I haven't seen them develop, but I feel all of the subtext.
You could feel like that was an emotionally heavy moment.
Right.
And if any more,
Shit's
were
getting
good.
real.
Shit's
getting real.
They first meet in Avengers, and they kind of bond because they're both geniuses, and they can both really work together because they're on the same wavelength in terms of science and in terms of their intelligence. And they've been through a lot. And they've been through Age of Ultron when they had to fight each other, which was fun. And then they've gone through a lot. He even makes a little cameo at the end of what's it called? At the end of Iron Man 3, where he's almost acting as like a therapist to Tony, and he was just like, "I'm sorry, I'm not the kind of doctor," which I thought was funny. But they've been separated for 3 years, so it's just like, Bruce, oh my god. And that hug really got me, and I was like, damn, like this is bad. And he's explaining, he's like, he's the baddest of the bad, Tony. Like he goes in, he wipes out planets, he destroys humanity. This is what happens. And I loved when Tony Stark say his name again. It was Thanos, and I was like, damn. But yeah.
Well, it's kind of cool to see someone like Tony Stark like afraid of something. Because, like, that was, like, the whole thing about Iron Man 3. Like, he was just really anxious about, you know, like, what if the wormhole opens again and, you know, I have to nuke them again.
You know, it's, you know, PTSD from fighting a war. You know what I mean? And you could even see in Avengers 1 where he was afraid of doing stuff like that because, you know, Cap was just like, is this the first time you lost a soldier? And he's like, we're not soldiers. And that really, like, triggered him. And then they don't waste any time and the children come down to Earth. And we get like an awesome action sequence, and that's when we get introduced to your favorite Spider-Man. What did you think of Spider-Man's entrance?
I wasn't expecting him to even be in this because it didn't occur to me.
That's great.
I just didn't expect it at all.
Yeah.
And then when I saw him, his chubby dumb friend, I just lit up like a Christmas tree. I was like,
That was funny.
yes, be in it for more than 30 seconds, please. Don't just be a shitty cameo. And I love that kid deeply, especially the ending. Anyway, yeah, no, like Spider.
Where's X-Men in this, by the way?
So-
I don't
X-Men
know.
are owned by Fox,
But
Disney just bought Fox, so technically not. But they're in all of the X-Men movies have been a completely different.
Yeah, they have.
Universe.
I
So-
wonder. I was just thinking, like, because everybody's in it. Everybody's in it. Where is the X-Men? I was thinking.
Deadpool?
I have a
Figures it's a
really
real-world thing.
big theory that I'll get to later because it involves like the end of everything, but it involves the X-Men and the Fantastic Four.
Well, they just acquired the rights by the transitive property. They acquired the rights.
Yeah.
And you know they did something similar with Spider-Man and Sony, and they got the rights, and then they found a way to work him into Civil War. They just found a way. And even though I thought it was a little hastily written in Civil War, it worked. Like, it totally worked. And I'm sure they're going to do something very similar to the X-Men. I mean, even Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were little kind of nods. They called them miracles instead of mutants.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've already started to kind of to ease into that. But to give anyone listening, I thought Homecoming was good. I thought it was very overrated. Everyone acts like it was like the best Marvel movie. I just think, so I saw Civil War and I fell in love with Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Civil War. I thought he had so much heart and he was charming and he was cute.
I'll tell you one thing though.
Yeah.
Whenever he like makes references to movies, it really pisses me off. He's
Why?
like, "Oh, you remember that movie with like the spaceships and they fly around and trip the thing?" It's like, we know you're talking about Star Wars. Could you
says it.
just stay Star?
He said it. He goes, "You ever see that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?"
Empire. Yeah, he says Empire Strikes Back, but like, it's called Star Wars, and then like, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. But you don't really say that. You say, "Oh, remember that scene in Star Wars where the thing."
I mean, I know that they own it. Maybe there was some sort of. I know that Disney owns Star Wars too, so I don't see why they wouldn't be able to say it. But I'm sure that, like, I work for a company where we have licensing deals all the time, and like, if like a logo is like slightly off center, they're like, we can't produce this. Like, our center is here justified and it's visually centered. It's not metrically centered. And I'm like, oh my God. So things get so crazy. So I know it's different parts of Disney that own that, but I wouldn't be surprised to be like, you can reference Empire Strikes Back, but you can't have one of your characters outright stay Star Wars. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just theorizing.
He did it in Avengers too. He was like, "Remember that old movie Aliens?" And then he
Yeah.
I was like, damn it. Like, that's that one thing I didn't like about
Aliens
you.
reference though. Like I thought his cultural references were very fitting for who he is as a character. Because who he is as a character is this very like he's not true. Man, you guys have been saying like way too much. Stop saying like. But you haven't. So I forgot my point because it just kept saying like.
Well, I like you, Justin.
I like you too, baby.
Keep going.
So what was I talking about?
You were talking about Spider-Man's references because
So Spider-Man's references make a lot of sense to who he is as a kid because he doesn't understand like the implication of what's happening. the way he nerds out when he figures out he has 8 legs, so amazing. Like they're about to get sucked out of the ship, and he's just like, boom, and I empathize with him in some weird way that I've never empathized with 8 legs before in my life.
I take it that this isn't the first time that Iron Man has designed other costumes for other superheroes, is it?
Not Spider-Man.
Yeah, definitely not.
But he has actually, I mean, if you remember in Age of Ultron, he kind of gives everybody a little upgrade. He designs the Hulkbuster suit, which later Mark Ruffalo gets. Gripe with the movie War Machine, he designed a thing that they never reference again, but he designed a really cool thing that retracts Cap's shield back. As if it were Thor's hammer, which I thought was really cool that they never used again. Gripe with the movie. Where the hell did the Hulkbuster suit come from? Tony is stranded in space. He got the suit from Victoria, who lives in the sky. This is a new version of it, so when the hell did he design it? Cap hasn't talked to him in 3 years, so when did he have it? And they were in Wakanda. Where did this Hulkbuster suit come from?
I mean, maybe War Machine had it, just lying around.
They do just end up in Wakanda out of nowhere. Seemingly.
It made perfect sense.
No, it made sense. It just...
Oh, like they got there quick.
I also truly didn't see Black Panther, so I didn't really understand that tie-in with this movie at all.
They're basically
until I saw
Wakanda's cut off from society with a force field around it. People think they're a third world country. Well, not anymore. They kind of reveal themselves to the world. That's the whole point of the movie. But it's basically they're kind of, you can't touch them there because their technology is so advanced that if like the government was like, no, you can't do that because Cap and the Avengers are kind of working above the government at this point. He even says like, Rhodey, arrest them, and he's like, "Yep, nope." And they go to Wakanda because that's the one place that they can operate and try to get the stone out of Vision's head because they have the technology to do so, and they don't have the access to it where they are currently. But back to that, we're still in the first scene of this movie.
Yeah, pretty back.
So the children are attacking. We get some great little dialogue here.
Squidward.
That's where probably the best reference in the movie comes from.
It's beautiful.
He goes, okay, Earth is closed. And blah, blah, blah. And then you, again, getting Doctor Strange is just so much more badass than I thought he'd be. He goes, Wizard, does this man speak for you? He goes, I speak for myself. And I was like, oh my God, you're so cool. Why are you so cool?
Does this little, anime pose.
So, yeah. And I gotta say.
Those were so cringy.
A lot of, I loved them. I thought they were super,
I liked it. I liked it.
You can love them if you're
I'm not a fan of canned dialogue.
You gotta do that. You can't just be like, I'm here.
Myself. I liked it.
I know, you always just Naruto'd into every scene, and it's just
I get
so
what you're
cool,
saying,
though.
but I liked it. Because the thing is, so I enjoyed his movie. I definitely didn't think it was like this amazing achievement in the MCU. But when he does that, it was really, really cool. Any of the gripes I have with this movie will probably, or some of the gripes I have with this movie will probably be around special effects. And his special effects are fantastic. Like, I can't say anything bad about the Doctor Strange special effects.
Mediocre CGI. The Hulk inside the Iron Man suit was a little bit
Okay.
The opening scene when Thanos grabs the Hulk, it looks awful, but you get over it real quick.
Yeah.
The way he grabs him, you can just see it's very poor green screen CGI.
I didn't pick up on that. But I will agree that I think any time in these movies, it started in Civil War because the machinery, the Iron Man suit, like 2008 Iron Man and Iron Man 2, these were not CGI suits. They were practical effects. Now they're all CGI. Anytime now with the CGI suit and you have someone in the suit, but it's their real head, it looks fake to me. I can just tell. When War Machine's at the end and it's just Rhodey's head with War Machine, it looks fake. When what's it called? Mark Ruffalo comes out and you see his head in the Hulkbuster suit, it looks fake. And I know they have the technology because Thanos is all CGI and he looks freaking amazing. And they have it, and the special effects look good where it matters. But that's going to bring me to another gripe because we're talking about it, and this is where Spider-Man makes his first appearance. I don't like the way Spider-Man looks. I just think he looks so fake all the time. I don't know what it is. The colors are too bright. And I'm not talking about the Iron Spider suit. I'm talking about his original red and blue. They're just so bright, and he's so like, I don't know. He looks like he just looks squishy, and I don't know.
It fit though? Like the Iron Man, like it fits what Iron Man would make for him though. It doesn't fit what you would expect Spider-Man to be.
I don't care what it looks like. I just want it to look real.
He looks.
Oh no, I see what you mean. Okay.
He looks kind of like someone cosplaying to be Spider-Man. I kind of get that.
I just feel it just doesn't look like he's there.
But
I'm like, you're a special effect.
I do like how his eyes move.
Oh, I
like,
love that.
Interactively. Like, that's awesome.
They found it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I totally get it that it's like, he's too fabric-y. He's not...
Something about it.
Yeah.
I can't really put my finger on exactly what it is. And whether, I could say that confidently this is the best rendition of Spider-Man, but I think that the Spider-Man that have come before him have looked better. They've looked more real. They've just like, even the Amazing Spider-Man, which was a lot of that was CGI, I think he looked realer. It's just, I don't know, it's something about the colors. But the Iron Spider suit helped. But I will say this, I know that you loved Homecoming. I had a lot of gripes with the movie. I did enjoy it. The biggest thing, I know I'm talking a lot, I'm a super Marvel nerd, and I feel like I'm making up for the lack of Marvel knowledge you guys have at the MCU.
That's totally fine.
I can go toe-to-toe in X-Men. I can't really go toe-to-toe in Marvel.
Yeah. But in the Homecoming, what they did was they didn't give any example of if this rendition of Peter Parker has Spidey sense. And I wanted that.
Right.
I'm like, where is it?
Yep.
Like, how are you not getting punched in the face? There was no sound effect. There was no anything. In the comics, he has like little wiggly lines that show up to kind of say that he senses something. And I thought that was a misstep in the Homecoming. And there was no web swinging sequences in Homecoming. And I know that I saw behind the scenes stuff with the director and be like, we really wanted to make this different. And we didn't want web swinging scenes because that's what everybody expects. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the best part of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Web swinging sequences are it's so cool. Even in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was clearly not a good movie, the web swinging sequences were so cool. When he's going in between like the Mack truck and like he's doing all this awesome stuff, I'm like, this is just so fun to watch. And they didn't have that. And I thought that was again a misstep because that's one of the most fun parts of Spider-Man. And in this freaking movie, man, both of those things within the first millisecond you see Spider-Man, you just see hair stands up, and I'm like, oh my god, there's the Spidey sense that I was missing. He goes, you gotta cause a distraction. We're gonna die! And he does that was so funny. I think that's probably the hardest I laughed in the whole movie because I was like, it was the timing.
He says it with a smile on his face.
Yeah,
We're gonna die. Because he wasn't reacting to Peter. He was reacting to like he saw. It was like if you said that to me, but I just saw a nuke going off, and he's just like, I don't hear you, but we are definitely screwed.
In a way, it's 100%. Like I'm trying to help you, but I'm serious. Like we're gonna die, and then he jumps out, and we get a small web swinging sequence. Which I was like, yes.
I took it differently. I thought when that fat kid got up, he was like, yes, I get to cause like a scene. And I was like, oh shit, that's fucking hilarious.
I totally knew that he didn't mean to do that. He just was legit scared.
Or maybe just the fact that Peter was saying, hey, you got to cause a distraction. He just instantly knew. He goes, something really bad's about to happen. Because he knows that Peter's just like, okay, we're going to die, and I need you to make it so I can be Spider-Man real quick.
It was just the excitement in his eyes that just brought me back to like being a kid again. It was really
Evan,
good.
you didn't see Homecoming, did you?
No, I didn't.
Then you would, if you saw Homecoming, you'd fully understand that fat kid had I really wish I knew his name, and I could look it up, and I'm not going to. He's Fat Kid.
That kid's gotta be.
Ned?
So he's in the other.
Ned the Fat Kid, whatever. He has a knack for screwing up everything in Homecoming. Everything. So when he did this and this, I was like, that's such a callback to like everything that he is as a character.
But it worked.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Yeah, I loved it because I understood that connection. Not the Ragnarok stuff though. Good job, May.
That's also when we get our Stan Lee cameo.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
He's the bus driver. At this
Totally
point,
junk.
I'm happy they got it out of the way.
I'm happy they got it out of the way too, because you know what? I miss the days where Stan Lee being in these movies was a nod and not like a hey. You know what I mean? I'm just like, we get it,
There he
Stan
is.
Lee's. I'm like, can he just be a little extra? I mean, say what you want about X3, but I love the fact that he was just a guy watering his lawn, and then all of a sudden the water goes up, and he's like, "What?" And he doesn't go, "Hey, you kids, what are you doing in there?" Like, you know what I mean? And I'm just like, it's cool because if you know, you know. Yeah. And if you don't, you don't.
And, like, you know it's him. Like, Stan Lee looks like Stan Lee. You could see him from a mile away.
So many movies you've seen him in. How many Marvel movies? There's
This is
19 and
this 19. Is the 19th in this universe. But he still does. He still does the Spider-Man stuff. He still does the X-Men stuff. Yep. So, 19 is not even, close to how many movies he's actually cameoed in.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. So we get there and Hulk can't come out. We actually see these children fight, and they are competent, which is what Marvel needed. It's really hard, the balancing act between power, when you have villains that are so powerful, so super powerful, godlike, and then you have these villains that are either so powerful that it's boring, or they're either so not powerful that the Avengers never feel like they're actually in danger and there's no stakes.
Well, it's cool because to me it kind of felt like they were on an even playing field because, like, you see Squidward, I forget his actual name.
He was great, that character.
I really liked him.
You see him, and, like, he's, like, hurling stuff at, Doctor Strange and Iron Man, but then he gets, like, hit, with whatever, I forget what it was, but, like...
Doctor Strange opened up a portal and sent all the rocks he threw back at him.
Right. So, like, they're still, like, intimidated by this guy, but he's also, like...
Not a god.
Yeah, he's mortal.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. It wasn't like that classic anime trope where, someone comes down, they're really powerful, and it's like, he's too powerful,
Yeah, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
But they get separated. They say, all right, if you're not going to help Hulk, go away. So he ends up somewhere else. And then Doctor Strange ends up fighting Squidward. And then we have the other guy that ends up fighting Iron Man, the big one. And all of a sudden it stops. And even though we had just seen Spider-Man's introduction in this movie, I wasn't expecting him to go, hey, I wasn't expecting him to be there. I thought it was going to be like, oh, Strange got him, or, oh, did the Hulk finally turn? You know what I mean? I just didn't, even though we just saw it, I didn't see it coming. And then in that movie, we almost got an applause break at that point in my theater. Everyone was like, but it wasn't a full applause break.
That's sad.
But it was fun to see him. And again, in Homecoming, he is such a bumbling idiot. I get that it's a different kind of origin story, and he was trying to get his bearings and understanding, but he fought the Avengers. Civil War came, he fought. Yeah, he fudged up a couple times, but he fought Falcon, the Winter Soldier. He fought Captain America. He lifted, like, what? And now you're, like, just screwing up, like, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man stuff, and in this one he goes back to being a competent person, where he's still fudging up and he's still quipping back and forth and being goofy and whatever, but he actually, like, the big guy throws something at him, he takes it, swings it, brings it back to him, and I'm like, thank you for being a competent person. Like, it was great.
Well, it's cool to see how useful he is, because, like, on the outside, or, like, whenever he speaks, like, he's just like this kid, and you kind of forget that he's super strong and can do spider stuff.
Yeah.
So,
he's Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was really cool how he's, like, kind of getting control of his powers and being useful.